before falling to Notre Dame last season. They finished the year 10-3, a record that included winning a bowl game against Oklahoma and the Army-Navy game. A big reason for their success was the offense constructed by Drew Cronick and led by Blake Horvath. The contributors are all back, and the midshipmen will look to continue on the high note that they ended their season with last year. We're back here at the American Football Kickoff. Maria Tribal-Peace alongside Rini Angolia, Lige Duzable, and the head coach of the Navy midshipmen, Brian Newberry. Coach, welcome to the set.
Thanks, glad to be here.
We have a lot of things to break down with you, but first off, let's talk about the hype that has been surrounding your team coming into this season. You return your starting quarterback, Blake Horvath. Yeah. You have players like Eli Heidenreich coming back as well. So how do you just get your players to kind of lock in and maybe drown out some of that hype and focus on the task at hand?
Yeah, we talked about drowning out the noise all the time, you know, good, bad, or indifferent. I was excited about, you know, what we did last year, how we finished the season. That was great momentum, you know, going into the off season. At the same time, our guys understand last year's team has very little to do with this year's football team and what we're going to do. But I certainly think there's been a little bit of a paradigm shift in our program, and just you know, what our expectations are. There's a different level of confidence, you know, based off what we did last year, we're able to do. So excited, you know, going back to January, and excited about the work that's been put in. You know, we talk a lot about deserving success in our program, and our guys have showed up, going to work every day on a consistent basis at a very high level, and so I'm excited about that. So I've got a good feeling about this team, you know, outside of the returning production, just who we are, the chemistry. Guys genuinely like each other, they care about each other, they love each other, they're fun to be around, but they've worked their tails off up to this point and still have a lot of work in front of us. I'm excited about where we're at and who this football team is and the identity.
Coach, talk about the evolution and growth of your offense. You bring in Drew Cronick last year. You have some spread elements into that offense. Just talk about what he's added to this offense that made you guys so explosive on offense last year.
Well, Drew's been outstanding. I mean, you know, I love what we're doing offensively. You know, we want to be unique and different, and nobody's doing what we're doing offensively. Correct. And to have Blake Horvath back at the trigger, I don't think there's a better fit for our offense than Blake Horvath. He's been exceptional, and to see his growth and progress last year and see what he's done in the offseason, I couldn't be more excited about him, and really the pieces, a lot of really good pieces around him coming back, guys that don't get enough credit. So excited about where we're at, and the offense will always continue to evolve, you know, with Drew Cronick there. But I love what we're doing, but more importantly, I like how we're doing it.
I know we just talked about it, but I got to bring it up again. The ending the last season, you beat Army, you win the Commander-in-Chief trophy, and then I called the Armed Forces Bowl, so I was there for that Oklahoma game. Sold out stadium in Fort Worth. It was electric. You beat a blue blood like Oklahoma. Just the momentum, how that season ended. I'm assuming it did carry into the offseason and then into what the expectations are very high this season for you.
Yeah, no question. You always want to finish your season on a high note like we did, but you look at the season, we got off to a really good start, and then there was a little bit of a lull. Yeah. And but to bounce back from that and to finish the way we did, you know, against a really, really good Army football team, the way we did in that game, and then to go put a exclamation point on it at the end. And you look at the Oklahoma game, we're down 14-0 early. It didn't look very good. I think it speaks to volumes about the character and the resilience of our football team. And so there's a different level of confidence with our team right now. It's not an arrogance, it's not an overconfidence, but it's a little bit different feel. There's a higher expectation in our program right now, but really, really high standard. Got great leadership. You talk about Blake Horvath, tremendous captain for us, Landon Robinson, really the entire senior class. I mean, we're a player-led football team, which you always hope and strive for as a head coach, and so feel really good. That leadership's really pervasive, and our guys have worked their tail off, and they're excited. They're chomping at the bit.
Yeah, I want to ask you about your quarterback, one of the more exciting offensive players in all of college football last year. You talked about it. Started off hot, dealt with some adversity, got banged up a little bit, but finished the season really strong. Where have you seen the growth from him this offseason as you get ready to kick off the season?
Yeah, well, we got to keep him healthy, you know, and I don't think a lot of people realized some of the injuries that he dealt with and played through last year, and even in the Oklahoma game wasn't a healthy Blake Horvath. But no, we needed to put some weight on him. Got to be able to absorb those blows a little bit better, and he did that. Had a great offseason, put on almost 10 pounds. He looks good, and he's healthy. He's a guy that's going to try to master his craft, and he's worked at it. And Had a really good spring, and after spring has had a really good summer. So just excited. And second year in the system.
Yep.
You're talking about a guy that's really only had one full year under his belt. He's had 3 different coordinators in his time here, and so to be with Drew Cronick again, I think is huge.
So the defensive guy asked the offensive question. I'm the offensive guy. I'll ask the defensive question. Coach, you're a defensive coach by trade.
Yeah.
PJ Volker, your defensive coordinator. You mentioned Landon Robinson, who I believe may be the best defensive lineman in the conference.
He's a good
Talk
one.
about that defense that you got coming back, and any wrinkles we're going to see out of that defensive unit this year?
Yeah. We've played pretty good defense since 2019.
Yeah. Right.
And since the emergence of what we've done offensively, not a lot of people talk about that.
Yeah.
But now really, really excited about what we've got coming back on defense and some of the new faces you're going to see. We're as athletic on defense as we've ever been. Have more depth up front on the D-line than we've ever had. And I've got some really good, young, talented players that I'm excited about. The guys haven't played a ton of meaningful snaps, but I feel good about where we're at defensively.
And let me jump back in there. So it's so fascinating. You said what you said. Some new players, some new faces come in. But for you guys, it's not through the portal. It's through player development.
Correct.
Yeah.
Guys you had that are going to step up that maybe the world doesn't know, and there'll probably be some guys. So that's what we love about the academies, Navy. You're developing young men, and you keep them. That's roster retention. You're building them.
Yeah, we're a unicorn. We still truly are a developmental program, and I think the players appreciate that.
Sure.
And so it's you got to pay your dues when you come to Naval Academy, and you've got to fight through some things, and that makes you better as a person. And so we got some guys who've been waiting, and they've paid their dues, and they're chomping at the bit to get their opportunity.
Speaking of development, let's talk about a guy that's really developed through your program, Eli Heidenreich. Obviously real close with Blake Horvath.
Yeah.
His ability to not only catch the ball, but also run it as well, and the physicality with that. Just talk about what you've seen from him heading into this season.
Yeah, well, he's an exceptional player. I mean, he's a utility knife for us.
Correct,
I mean, he's a guy that can line up at running back. He can line up at wide out because he plays a slot position for us and will return kicks as well. Just a special player, a special athlete, and I don't think people talk about him enough, truthfully.
He's a hell of a player, man.
Yeah, and we talk a lot about Blake, which is well deserved, but he's got a lot of good pieces around him, a lot of good skill players. You look at Alex Teska, Brandon Chapman. I mean, we've got a bunch of those guys, and so I'm excited to see those guys get to play again together.
I was going to say, give Teska some carries. Give fullback love. Some more carries.
Sounds like you have a personal bias on that one, right?
Let's bring the fullback in the mold a little more.
Well, let's go back to the quarterback in Blake Horvath. You said 2 things about him in particular. One, he's looking to try to gain weight, and then you also talked about his leadership ability. I will say we were watching him at the baseball event last night. He was eating a lot of popcorn, so hopefully that will help his weight gain.
A lot of butter on that popcorn.
Lots of butter. Landon made sure that he was all set, but he was also cheering on Landon as he was taking cuts in the cage. But when you talk about the kind of leader he is, how would you describe Blake Horvath?
Yeah, just an exceptional young man. Obviously, we're talking about his playing abilities, but I mean, there's not a better representative of what the Naval Academy is all about and what our program is all about than Blake Horvath. I mean, he's just a special young man and a great teammate. And I tell you what, despite the success he's had, he's a guy that hasn't changed at all. He's super humble, calm, cool, and collected, as you guys probably gathered. Just a special young man. Cares about his teammates. Loved and respected by his teammates and by his fellow midshipmen as well. And just a special young man.
Let's talk about the other player that you have here, Landon Robinson. As a defensive lineman, it's every defensive lineman's dream to be able to be an up back on punt, get a fake, get the look that you want, get into the open field, because he shows some athletic ability, Coach. Has he been like chomping at the bit to tell you, hey, Coach, I can do this on offense. Put me at the fullback position. Let me get Alex some reps off and let me get in at fullback.
It's funny that you mentioned that. We've actually talked about using him on some short yardage goal line.
Okay.
I don't think our defensive coordinator is too fired up about that idea. But I mean, talking about a guy that's 285 pounds, has clocked 20 miles an hour on the catapult. Yeah, and another special young man. I mean, what a great leader and role model he is, and I'm excited about the year for him. He's going to be a name that a lot of people are talking about.
Coach, there's 6 new coaches in the league this year. You were one of those guys 3 years. There's a bunch of you that are in your 3rd year this year. So just thoughts on the American. I've said it here earlier today. I just think it's the deepest conference, top to bottom, and obviously added your rival Army last year. Just kind of talk about the conference.
No, it's a great conference, and it's a unique conference. You got a lot of teams that are throwing the ball around. You've got 3 option teams in the conference now, so it's really diverse. It's exciting. Any team can win on any given Saturday in this league. There's a lot of equality amongst the league and a lot of talent. A lot of talented players, talented coaches, and so couldn't be more excited about where we're at as a conference right now, and the addition of some exceptional new coaches too. So it's exciting.
No doubt.
Certainly exciting to see your team and the rest of the conference play this year, Coach. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Coach.
Pleasure.
Thanks, Coach.
We'll take a look at that Navy schedule. The big game that they will always circle is that one in Baltimore, Maryland on December 13th against Army. Joining Hannah Brady on the desk right now is 2 Navy midshipmen.
Thanks so much, Maria. Yeah, I'm now joined alongside defensive lineman Landon Robinson and quarterback Blake Horvath. Guys, just how are you doing today, and what's it been like being here in Charlotte?
Yeah, it's been great. I think just being out here, being able to represent our team, represent everything that comes at the Naval Academy is just awesome, and super excited to be here.
Yeah, it's been great getting to meet some fans, meet some people from other teams, and just get to experience it and all represent our team here.
I know you guys also did a little BP yesterday on the field. How did that go for you guys?
It was tough, and trying to get back into it. Hand-eye coordination is something you got to work on, but no, it's good. It's a fun time. It's good.
Yeah, it was fun watching him try and hit. I didn't participate, but it was fun trying to see him.
I mean, hand-eye coordination, you should be pretty good.
Right,
I mean, quarterback and all.
Yeah, it was above my pay grade for that decision. So my mom said no way.
Right. I completely understand. Well, guys, I'm sure you're both aware of just the hype surrounding your program this season, but your coach just talked about drowning out the noise. How have you guys continued to do that as you approach this fall?
Absolutely. We call it, don't choke on the sugar, right? Just making sure you're staying composed, making sure everyone is staying humble, right, and staying hungry for this upcoming season is very important, and making sure we're telling that to the younger guys and the guys coming back is very important. So.
Yeah, I think it starts with that the only opinions that matters are the ones that are in the room, right? The people are making it happen, and the noise, good or bad, it's just distracting either way, and it can create turmoil, it can create egos, and so just blocking all that out, and creating the brotherhood, forming that culture, that bond that we all have for each other, and I think that's what matters. Is just building that within.
Absolutely. And then Blake, for you, you've had quite an interesting football career. I mean, you didn't play at all in 2024 and then played 4 games in 2023, was sidelined due to an injury. You were a little banged up last season. Just talk to me about your recovery process. How are you feeling right now and just what to expect this coming football season?
Yeah, I'm feeling good now. Obviously, you take the offseason to get healthy, to get better and all that. And so just unfortunate things that happened last year, just some injuries and some fluke things that happened. So, just trying to minimize those, put on some good weight, some muscle, to minimize those, small injuries that may happen here or there, those bumps and bruises. But then just excited, for the season and trying to maintain that, be smart. I know I'm reckless sometimes running the football, but being smart, going down, when you need to, but also getting the yards where they need to come.
And then your coach just said you couldn't be a better fit for this offense. Just how much weight do you put on yourself knowing that he puts so much trust in you to lead this offense the right way?
Yeah, I think it starts with trust, though. That's what you want from a coach, and that's what you want from anything, is just knowing that you can go out there and sort of do what you want to do without having to feel the worries of if you're doing the wrong thing, or, just that trust is so foundational in any good relationship. And so really having that, and I agree, I was never thinking of going anywhere else. I don't think there's a better fit in the country for me in this system and our offense. So I'm just glad to have that trust and to have built that.
Absolutely. And then, Landon, we got to talk about the defense.
Absolutely.
Coach just talked about how excited he was about the defense. Just what can we expect from Navy this upcoming season?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you can expect a bunch of guys who are hungry, guys who are ready to fly around. Obviously, we have a young secondary. We had Ray Lane. He just got drafted to the Jaguars, so we're losing him, losing a few other seniors that are very vital. But we have a lot of young guys that are hungry and ready to get out there. So super excited and excited to get after with the guys.
I got to ask you, I read that you're the strongest player on the team, squatting 665 pounds, benching 465 pounds. Just what keeps you motivated, and what expectations do you put on yourself to achieve that?
For me, it's more just a pastime. I like to, lift heavy and lift on my free time, but it definitely helps with the game, of course, and then just continue to, push that to the other guys, and, for us to continue to get stronger as a defense is something that can make us better in the long run. So I just like doing it, and it's very fun, and excited to see what the gains have made for us over this season. So it's great.
Blake, I saw you laughing when I asked that question. I feel like you guys have a very tight-knit relationship. Will you just talk about, being on opposite sides of the ball, just the relationship you two have?
Yeah, I think, this institution, not being impacted by the transfer portal or NIL, it really just builds the bonds between the guys, and you develop and you grow relationships, right? Like we've had our whole senior class out for breakfast like the other day, which is sometimes unheard of, right? Just with teams and stuff anymore, and so. I was just laughing because this dude lives in the gym. If he can't get at least 2 to 3 lifts in a day, it's a bad day for him. So, he is an absolute beast, and it's actually fun. It's entertaining to watch in the weight room, just watching him squat. So, yeah.
Yeah, sometimes I'll be, chirping them in the weight room and be like, hey, man, come over here and get some of this weight. But, it's a fun time, and, it just makes us better as a team. When you push each other and you have that, that fun, competitive drive in the weight room and on the field, it just makes everybody better. So
Absolutely. I mean, this is a player-led team, and I know Navy is known for its lead effort of attitude and toughness. Just how do you guys continue to buy into that and into the culture that Coach Newberry instills?
Yeah. Coach Newberry, he preaches it every single day, that elite, that effort that we have to have, and those are the intangibles that help us win games. So I think just continue to preach that and continue to push that, and be examples of that on the field is just something that will help us win games overall. So
yeah, and I think it's sometimes cliche to say, but we say it a lot. Is it's not what we do, it's how we do it, right? And you gotta find that edge. We're gonna win in the margins a lot of times, and that's where that attitude and toughness comes in. Effort, attitude, and toughness, I should say. And so that's what sets us apart, right? Because we may not be talented as other teams. It's just the truth, right? You look at the stars, you look at recruiting rankings. I don't think I had any, right? So it just happens how it does, and we don't look at it. It's not going to set us behind, right? It's how are we going to win games, right? We're going to play our game. We're not going to play theirs.
Absolutely, couldn't have said it any better. But guys, it was so great to chat with you here at the Players Desk. I'm wishing you all the best of luck this season, and I just hope you continue to enjoy the rest of your time here in Charlotte.